YouTube comments from a video titled, "Your survival score in the first 72 hours of WW3."
At Michelle Farrar 7466 wrote,
Even if one does survive, they're just prolonging the inevitable fate that will eventually catch up in a matter of time. There are no winners or survivors when it comes to nukes. Not even if you have a fully equipped fallout shelter complete with all your needs. There are things the body needs that a fully equipped fallout shelter cannot provide, but only nature can. These shelters are just illusions of safety. I will not be the one to want to survive such a catastrophic event. I much rather be back in the true home, where I belong in love/safety with the Father.
At Wyvernly wrote,
You say you have to lie to your neighbor. The word of God says, "Thou shalt not bear false witness. He who has 2 tunics, let him give to him who has none. And he who has food, let him do likewise." You don't have to lie to him. You share and tell him to keep the knowledge to himself. Your best survival skill is relying on Jesus and following his teachings even under pressure. If you are an atheist, then I guess you only have yourself to rely on, which gets you close to the finish line, but had to sin your way to get there. Thing is, you don't actually make it past the finish line in the end. You can only get so far without God's protection and salvation.
At 53 and 83 wrote,
My pantry is an entire room, top to bottom, with freeze-dried food made with my own freeze dryer, pallets of bottled water. I have a drilled well with RO water on solar, house on solar, 10,000 rounds of each ammunition, and enough weapons to outfit 30 people. I've been at this for years, obviously, but you should also always keep as much cash and silver in small denominations that you can use for barter, aside as well. Some of us have been paying attention to the world around us for quite some time. A lot of people watch something like this and will still not even follow the minimum.
Captain Lee Ryder wrote,
No, urine is not sterile when it leaves the body. Contrary to the common myth, recent studies confirm that urine contains bacteria, even in healthy individuals, and picks up more bacteria from the urethra and skin during urination. While usually safe, it is not a sterile antiseptic fluid.
I think to Heidegger wrote,
I live in Aachen, basically the main area of the city, and I live next to the main road. So how can I be safe there, as that's probably the target area?
Catch 47 wrote,
Great vid. Can you do one for people living in urban environments, cities/apartments? Or are we all pretty much done when the roving mobs and bombs come?
At Elise D3C wrote,
Greetings, Sergeant Miller. I always wonder how you're able to turn out so many vital videos. Probably military, although you may be an AI that is warning the ones that will listen. You could also be the military, and this is the other side that is an opening to find the ones that are trying to prepare, to judge the degree of difficulty we in this group will represent. You could also be militia that suckers people that are prepared to go to your website and give inventory as well as location. I love your videos, but my mind never shuts up.
At Nikita 7985 wrote,
I live in a first priority strategic target zone U.S. major city of 5 million in a high desert with at least 7 strategic military targets with 10 to 15 miles around. Also in a highly combustible, antiquated 3-story wood death trap. If we get a 30-minute nuclear ES alert today, my contingency plan is to roll out a chair onto the balcony, take out a pack of Franks, and get ready for the BBQ. Good thing my kids go to school 1,500 yards away. Will be subject to the same flames.
Ashong 7902 wrote,
How are we going to get enough toilet paper to survive in only 72 hours? I think so many concentrate on prepping. Health is number one. A huge percent will die right away due to health issues and 0 minutes.
Heidi Q8N wrote.
I've been listening to these for a couple of days now and am thoroughly spooked now. I was at the grocery store and passed a pallet of bottled water, and I was like, I drove home with a passenger seat, a back seat, and a trunk full of water.
At Ryan Mackin 8346 wrote.
Your videos are top-notch, but that website... Well, I'm not going to pay you to get a list of my assets for a perceived score or pat on the back. I'm pretty objective in grading my preparedness. More so daily in watching your videos.
As Sanity Shorer wrote.
DONOT ever disclose your preparations to anyone, especially not online, and certainly not an app that is literally a tool for the government to come see what houses to raid for supplies.
At Earth_being wrote.
Not a single person on this planet has guts to use Big N. No matter how crazy a person is, nobody will ever use them. The rich need peasants to keep them rich, so chill guys, you can't escape work and paycheck.
As Shardater wrote.
Clarification. The decision in the next 10 minutes defines how long will you suffer before you die very soon. There is no way to survive a thermonuclear war. Period. Your bunkers are useless. You will be dead. Sooner equals less suffering, later equals more suffering.
At Free Palestine 98 wrote.
It starts with Israel. With their plan to bring about the Antichrist. For they plan, and Allah also plans and Allah isthe best of planners. ISATHESONOF Mary PBUH, ISTHE best superhero ever period.
At Gavin Velasco F3W wrote.
Guys, IFYOU live INTHUSWEROKCUZWEARETHE strongest country, while Iran is 16th SOWEARE good BUTIFU. Live in Cali like MEY, you might be cooked CUZWE have THE most bases Cali IS like THE dang queen ONTHE chessboard SOIFURIN Cali fine. Shelter.
At Josh Harris I6Q wrote.
12:10 evil. Christians have faced Black Plague and worse in the face of death. God provides miracles, and truth be told, your logic should have been to kill Dave and his family and preserve their meat, as you have abandoned humanity.
Cat Murphy G8T wrote.
That reminds me, there's so much I don't have, or at least lack ready access to. I need to remake my plans for how to make a rocket stove and how to process and store acorns for food. Other things too. I need to make a dedicated file with copies I can hand out to family and friends, even neighbors. I need more water and more firewood, more materials to make water filters, and another copy of the plans for those too. A rain barrel gutter diversion kit. Probably some animal traps. Some other seeds to plant. American hazelnuts would be a good option. I'm already trying to grow some fruit seeds to hand out to people, since I am a renter and have nowhere to put food plants around my place. And decoy fruit for when fruit is ripening and people don't want the birds eating it all. More potting soil, pots. Bases for the pots, some organic plant food, etc. I still have so much work to do just to try to help those I love. I wonder survive any disaster like this long term because of medical issues, so my plans are focused on helping others survive using whatever time I can get. Plans on how to compost human waste too, how to compose kitchen scraps, what not to compost, how to use urine to either help crops or age it into ammonia and what they can do with ammonia, the various uses for ashes, etc. So much info that could help, and when things get real they likely won't be able to just look up any of it.
At SF Patu PB wrote.
Power grid down for an extended period from an EMP or cyber attack will result in mass death due to disease, dehydration, starvation, and violence. We will do the killing of each other for our enemy. Something like 90% dead in the first year? What to do today, because the attack may never come. But you still need to have capabilities, knowledge, and training. If you're able, pay off debt, build a cash emergency fund, convert a percentage of monthly fiat into precious metals, and don't panic. Also worth considering the struggling masses today who are not financially prepared. A book called Dealing with Burglary and Home Invasion Robbery may help in lowering your odds of becoming a victim. Area study, use of force plan based on your home's layout based on principles. Criminal behavior, use of force with court in mind, training, and trauma care. You also need to plan for a future without disaster. You need to be able to survive court if the lights come back on, and you're held accountable for the bodies in your driveway. Good luck.
As Squidbush8563 wrote,
18 Why I print everything. You don't need a battery or internet connection to look at a piece of paper. One of the best IMO investments I made was buying books with information in them, like how to make a water filter or build a hidden campfire.
At Yamanabowd5393 wrote,
You're great, man. I'm in Syria. I live like Dave for the last 15 years, without the nuclear dust, at least for now anyway. What you said is good, but I have to say, if you're talking about a WW3 and not a regime collapse, this means there is a state left. You may draft for fight, and it will last for months or years. You can't plan your life for the whole war. The war will plan your life.
Katie Shinobi wrote,
These videos are great for entertainment and nothing else. Thinking that surviving a full nuclear war would be a good thing is folly. Things that are not covered in your videos are vitally important. That is to say, the amount of oxygen used in a nuclear blast is beyond imagination, let alone that important targets have multiple warheads aimed at them. Conflagration is another effect of a full nuke exchange that you do not cover. People can literally be baked in an underground shelter by the high temperature that fire will cause. Once again, oxygen that will be consumed by the conflagration will suffocate people in their shelters. How can one produce large amounts of oxygen? Next, the amount of time that is needed to live on the surface after a nuclear exchange is multi-generational. Where will drinkable water and uncontaminated food come from? Genetic diversity will definitely suffer after a nuclear exchange. Mental and physical deformities will certainly be a huge concern. The levels of radiation, which are cited in your videos, are far below what would actually be released in a full nuclear exchange. The drop in temperature after a full nuclear exchange is not addressed. A human body requires more calories to function and survive in a cold environment. Next, there is no template for what works in a full nuclear exchange because there has not been a full nuclear exchange in recorded human history. ANY populated urban area is a death sentence. Urban living is a disaster waiting to happen in ANY crisis. Urban living breeds dependence on others. Wishful thinking is all your channel offers in this video. Your channel is propaganda. You are an anti-firearm proponent. You push climate change as a scientific fact instead of a bold dollar hit agenda. You use AI voiceovers. There have been errors where the accent suddenly changes to an Indian accent in these videos. What people need to be prepared is sense. If people need to be told what they need and what actions are needed, those people are already in deep trouble.
Daniel Layton in E9E wrote,
Ridiculous how the website has buttons to enter all your supplies to mimic how long they'll last. This info could be used by hackers or GoVT and get you on sold watch list.
At H6684 wrote,
Very powerful video in the first one, which made sense to me, except for one thing about the phone and the cloud, since you have not talked about screen discipline and that it will be gone quickly. Best is to have your plans printed and secure.
Crunchy Steve wrote,
You need a community is the line that makes me truly trust this advice. In the end, any level of war zone, from urban breakdown and riots to the nuclear scenario in this video, we survive as a community or we die alone. Keep up the great work. Nearly 20 years ago, I used to be a workplace volunteer emergency warden in Minor City. Survival only happens with inclusive leadership, shared information resources, and knowledge and humor to lighten the load. Even laying low in the panic stages can result in finding yourself excluded when the community begins to pull together. Manage and restrict contact during the critical payhas, but always great with reasonable help. Do less than you can in order to be able to do more later, but always help a little. Nothing fires up a lynch mob like refusing help or being caught hiding yourself or supplies.
At Master AGN wrote,
When my phone lit up with North Korean missiles incoming, I didn't freeze. I grabbed everyone and we head downstairs to the underground cellar at high speed, as fast as we could go.
At CDMBFSS wrote,
If you're serious, dedicate an episode to modern travel, that is our vehicles and how the effects of EMP are relevant. Vital subtopics of it are understanding the vulnerable components, how they are affected, and what can be done to harden them. It will involve university physics 2 topics, but it's well worth it. Please consider my suggestion.
At I Hate Searching for a Handle wrote,
What was it, 25 videos before you couldn't stand it any longer and developed your mediocre app? How many times do we now have to hear about it in the video? Go ahead and wave my sub, bye-bye. I am not here to make money on your side hustle.
At Paged 7518 wrote,
A little concerning the 2 times upsell of this app where we are to trust Bob, the Tuesday hatting narrator, for this. Going to not only say pass but hard pass, my friend. Better off going to a library or talking to real responders and getting info from them. Oh, and Gamma is not lazy, that's the hard rads that blow, though a lot of stuff it's alpha that can be stopped by paper.
At a Zombie 8 My Baby wrote,
Am I the only one who is concerned about the shifting accent? At times, it's European. Others, it's East Asian. And still others, it almost sounds Australian. Between that and the backwards AI heads in these videos, I find it a bit creepy.
At Lostinthisand wrote,
So, one does everything, correct, to minimize the radiation. Then, David comes knocking on your door. David has not taken precautions to minimize radioactive contamination. He is a breathing and walking radioactive dead zone. He puked on your doorstep with radioactive stomach contents. His clothes are contaminated. His hair, skin, cloth, and biological body is radioactive. Bye-bye, David. You let him in, and unless one is ready to deal with radioactive David correctly, he will compromise you.
At Real Stormkeeper wrote,
So I have a grocery store in my town is closing 50% of the stock is empty. This is just one store, think about. If it is, every store, no food, no water bottles, no Tylenol, you will feel it in 3 days, not weeks.
At David Navarro 86 wrote,
Friends' relatives got pinned down in Donbass in 2210. They should have left early, but had heard fear-mongering before. Eventually, they got to Kyiv as the front shifted.
At Shafter 3897 wrote,
Sure thing, my AI buddy. I'm definitely gonna download your app.
and tell you who I am, where I am, and what I have so you can score my preparedness.
At Kevin Blatter 2369 wrote,
We were in Hawaii on January 13, 2018, when the Hawaii missile alert was set off. It does something permanently to you when you call your kids on the mainland and tell them this may be it. We love you. Goodbye.
At Vile Microbe 79 wrote,
The last thing anybody should be doing is going to that guy's website and putting all your information of what you have where you are and get fucking score. Is the federal Gestapo even trying anymore with this kind of bullshit?
At Squeegee Man 2000 wrote,
If you want to get a small glimpse of how people react, check out the 38-minute-long incoming ballistic missile alert on Hawaii on 1/13/18. Started at 8:07 a.m. while I was making breakfast on an outer island. I could check civil defense updates online, so I wasn't worried. A lot of people freaked out. Would have been much worse if it was a coordinated cyber attack. You wouldn't need a nuke at all to do a lot of damage.
At QED 9600 wrote,
Excellent. Produce one about how to survive consequences of an illegal migration invasion of around 15 million. Including gangs, traffickers, drug smugglers, murderers, rapists, and others simply not willing to be self-sufficient productive.